It's Crazy Pickle from the No community, and I'm here because of the Nintendo E3 press conference. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that happened was there was a little intro with these like Robot Chicken-esque cartoons, and I think that was actually kind of funny that a lot of those that they had going throughout the press conference, lampshaded things that Nintendo has, like Little Mac never taking off his boxing gloves and Bowser kidnapping Princess Peach like 90 times. But the first piece of news we got was that the Mii is joining Smash Bros. 4. And this is something we kind of knew for a while. Like, we knew that they were eventually going to come into it at some point, but we never really knew, it was highly speculated, like, we were going to have the Miis. But the problem everyone had is, what would the moveset be? So what they did was they created 3 separate movesets. They have, there's a Brawler, a Fighter, and a Gunner. So they each have different play styles for what play style you prefer, and they also each they have separate moves. So there's 36 total combinations, because they said that for this one there's customizable movesets. So like for Mega Man, there's a bunch of different of the Robot Master's powers he has. Then they showed off something called Amiibo, which is kind of like Skylanders and Disney Infinity. And I think they said something about that, that they can be used with Skylanders and Disney Infinity. But the figure that they have was a little Mario figure, And so what they were talking about was that you put it on the gamepad, and it has parts in it, and it can save, like, your save file. It has, like, parts that the Wii U keeps, and then it can change files in the game you're playing, and the game can change files in that. And so the first game that comes with Amiibo is Smash Bros. For Wii U, coming out holiday 2014. We still don't have a date on that. We have a date for the 3DS version, which is, I think, October 26th, 2014. So that's what we know about that. We saw a bunch of stuff for the 3DS version of Smash Bros. Because that's coming out first. They showed us a bunch of new kinds of things, something that looked like a board game. Some stuff like there was like a Kid Icarus Uprising enemy, which makes me think there's going to be like an adventure mode. And so there's that, they showed us just some of the game modes besides just, your traditional 4-player match that you have in, the new Smash Bros. Then the next thing was it showed us a bunch of new games. So, the first one was, Yoshi's Woolly World. Wow. I don't know if you guys ever played Kirby's Epic Yarn, but it's something along those lines. You have Yoshi in a world, he's made of yarn, and the world's made of yarn. So, I don't know if that's gonna be like they specifically said it wasn't Kirby's Epic Yarn 2, but it looked very similar. The game looks like every game on the Wii U. I'm just gonna say this once and get it over with, and then I'll keep repeating myself but every game on the Wii U just looks so good. Like people are like, oh, it's only 720p. Xbox One and PS4 have higher definition outputs. But something about the way Nintendo styles their games and the cartoony style that every game they showed was in. The cartoony style just lends itself so much better to gaming, in my opinion, because they can have it at a lower resolution, but it looks better, and the look sticks with you for longer. So they did have a little bit about Yoshi's Woolly World. Let's see. They're trying to keep the same, like, lighthearted fun. Yoshi, the game, it looks good. Yoshi transforms into different things depending on the move he's using. So you know how he has, like, in Smash Bros, you jump, and then you jump again, he does, like, the loop. They have that in it as, like, he turns into a helicopter. When he does the ground pound, he turns into, like, a brick, and he just, like, falls. Kind of like how Kirby does it, but a little bit different. So that's, there's that. So he transforms using the yarn into different things. And it has 2-player co-op with a green Yoshi and a red Yoshi, which is awesome. Once again, like Kirby's Epic Yarn, had 2-player co-op, but that's the last comparison I'm gonna draw. Promise. That game's coming in 2015. Then the next game they did was Captain Toad, which was, like all the little puzzle segments that were in Super Mario World 3D, with like Toad, and he was coming in? This game is basically an expansion on that. They didn't talk much about it. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be a full retail $60 game. There are 2 options that I think they're going to do with it. They're either going to pull a Super Luigi U and make it a digital or disc for like $30 or something, or they'll make it just like an arcade game like NES Remix was or something for the Wii U. So you have your small things. They did say that there's no new Mario game. One thing though about Captain Toad and Yoshi's Woolly World, they both have Mario enemies in them. So in Yoshi's Woolly World, you see a Piranha Plant and a Koopa, and you saw a Koopa and I think another Piranha Plant and a Thwomp in Captain Toad, just the thing. That's coming this holiday season. The next game that they showed us was the Zelda Wii U. That was pretty big. They spent most of the time not showing any gameplay. They talked a lot about the world, and so they talked about how in the original world, the way that you moved around, and it all felt like one continuous world. And then they talked about how in 3D it was harder, to make that one continuous world. And so in the new Zelda U, that's just what I'm going to call it for now, they're keeping it one continuous world. The game looks fantastic. The style looks a lot like Skyward Sword style from what they did show us. They talked about, like, the world looks big. Think about, like, Skyrim, but with Zelda, I mean, obviously you're not going to go kill chickens, and, well, you may kill chickens, but you're not going to go kill people in the middle of the night and join the Dark Brotherhood, Hail Sithis. But, you have the same, like, generic, like, well, not generic, you have the same, like, giant world, with, like, mountains in the distance that he did say, like, these mountains that you barely see you can go to. And as opposed to, like, if you look at Ocarina of Time, right, for the N64, you do have Hyrule Field, and it is huge and expansive, but there's nothing in it. It's kind of like, there's a few enemies here and there's one thing in the middle, and everything else is in a circle. So it just makes you feel like it's big, but really there's nothing in it. And in this, there were, like, hills, and it looked huge. And then the next thing that they showed was he was talking about how there's still going to be, like, powerful enemies in the world that you fight. And this is, like, just what I'm thinking from what they showed, but, like, he shot a rock, right? And he shot, like, a bomb, and a rock exploded, and then it wasn't there. So that makes me think, does the world change? If, like, this bridge breaks, do you have to, like, build it back? Or are you going to leave the area and come back and the bridge is going to be back like it was? They said that's coming in 2015. The next game they showed was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is awesome. It uses the X and Y engine, looks a lot like X and Y, which isn't bad. X and Y is a great game. Fantastic Pokemon game. They showed some of the same gym leaders, some of the same towns. It looks like it's not a continuation, like, everyone was like, oh, it says a new adventure, so maybe it's a continuation, somewhat like what Black and White 2 is doing, but I don't think it is. I think it's a full remake, like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or Leaf Green and Fire Red. Like, everything looks exactly the same. It looks great. There's Team Magma and Team Aqua. The starters have Mega Evolutions, which we knew from that leak, and Groudon and Kyogre have Mega Evolutions now, which is what you see on the box art. Like, when you look at it, because they've released what the box art looks like, that's their Mega Evolutions. So then, that's awesome that they have Mega Evolutions. The next game that they showed off was Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2, it looks like your generic, hack and slash, big, huge, crazy bosses, crazy enemies, cheesy, kind of, like, funny dialogue at the same time. That's obviously translated, just stuff like that. But the coolest part about that is Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U is also coming with the first Bayonetta game, and it includes Nintendo-themed costumes. So they had a Princess Peach and a Link and a Samus costume. And the Link costume, I'm gonna guess that this is for all of them, but the Link costume had like a sound effect. Like she used a key to open a door, and it played the Zelda, da 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 da, like the puzzle solved theme. So that was awesome. That was really cool that they did that. Then the next thing they had was Hyrule Warriors, which they kept calling it a crossover of sorts. I'm not sure if it's a crossover between the developers or they actually have Dynasty Warriors in it. But basically, think of Dynasty Warriors, but with Zelda enemies and Zelda characters. Like, they showed a bunch of clips where it was just one person and a horde of enemies. And, you're just going at them, just taking no damage, just swinging, just really fun, just like that feeling of like, I took out a million guys, like I am the army destroyer. They showed a bunch of playable characters. Obviously there's Link, there's Zelda, which is one of the first times you actually get to play as Zelda. Impa, first time you get to play as Impa, and Midna actually riding on Wolf Link, which is like, so is this like the Twilight Princess world, or, I'm not going to go too into the lore here, but they said that a bunch of your favorite Zelda characters are going to be playable. So are we going to get to play as more? Are we going to get to play as like Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, or maybe the King of Red Lions from Wind Waker. I don't know, but that's what they said for that. That's coming September 26th, 2014. Next was Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which basically looks like Kirby Canvas Curse 2. I don't know if you guys ever played Kirby Canvas Curse, but it was a DS game where you drew lines and Kirby was like a ball and he would roll along the lines. And so this is basically Kirby Canvas Curse 2 for the Wii U. So, obviously it looks great. Every game that they showed looks fantastic, even on the 3DS. The thing about that game is, so they have to get more creative with their puzzles and the level design, because it can't be just your generic Kirby game, left to right, occasionally little puzzles, little secrets. It's really creative with how you have to defeat bosses and other things. So that was awesome. The next thing that they showed off was Monolith Soft's new game. They called it Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now I still haven't played the original Xenoblade Chronicles, so I'm not sure. It looks like it would be a the second game in the series, or like a remastering, or set in like the same universe but different time period. What they showed off is set in a futuristic world. Earth's lost, and so like Earth is no more. They say that like we lost Earth to these aliens, and so it's like humans are going on a revenge spree, and they're going to these aliens, and they're taking them out for taking out Earth. Next was one of the coolest things they showed. It was Mario Maker. So it was like, think about like, when you get a game and you get to create your own thing, like Trials Evolution's map editor or Forge mode in Halo 3. Now take Mario Brothers, the first Mario Brothers from the NES, like Super Mario Brothers, combine them. That's what this is. So you use the gamepad and you can create your own Mario levels, so you can create something really hard. You can create something cool where you take a red shell and you go and you bounce it off and it kills a bunch of enemies, and so then we have that, and so that's what they showed off for that, and it looks really good. Then you can also, there are two styles for it. So there's the Super Mario Brothers, which is like a remastered HD version using the same pixels, but in HD. And then you have your new Mario Brothers U, so it looks exactly like Mario Brothers U, just with the same thing, and you can switch between those at any time. So that was really cool. That looks awesome. That's coming in 2015, and it looked like there were also new power-ups. I'm not sure. Then they showed Splatoon, which is an 8-player shooter game, but instead of like bullets, like pew 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 pew, you use ink. So you're like these squid things, and you shoot ink. And so the purpose isn't like, I guess it's not killing. Like you can kill, is what they showed one person like dying, but your goal is to cover the battlefield in all your ink. So make sure that you inked the most. So that game is 4-on-4, and there are two teams. It has a bunch of things where there's there's two playable ways. There's the and you switch between them at any time. You have your normal person with the gun, your human, and then you can turn into a squid. And as the squid, if it's your ink, you can swim fast. You can jump up walls. They show a bunch of stuff like that. Basically, the thing about the squid being for movement and the human being for shooting the ink, and that's basically what they showed off, and it's kind of really cool. That's for the Wii U. They didn't show any other way of playing besides taking your Wii U gamepad, using the gyroscope controls. But I feel like they couldn't just do that because there's got to be split screen. So I'm sure you're gonna be able to use your Wii U Pro controller, and so you'll be able to use it like that. And so there's two styles of controls, but all they showed was your gyroscope controls with the Wii U. Then they were talking about a bunch of things. There's the Smash Bros. Invitational Tournament, and they talked about Best Buy. So if you are near Best Buy and you're a fan of Smash Brothers, go to Best Buy because there's something like Smash Fest there. I'm gonna make another video on that. Then the last two things they showed was Reggie comes back after we see all these games. He's like, hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm just gonna leave you with a little teaser. So then it shows this anime clip of Smash Bros. We get the zoom, boom, like the Smash Brothers and the fire, and then we see Link and Pit fighting, and it's awesome. Smash Bros. Anime 10 out of 10 would always watch. And then we get Palutena comes in, So Palutena is a new playable character. And one thing that they showed was that she has like a bunch of different special moves. So once again, they're showing that there are those customizable move sets. And so I could be playing Palutena, and you could be playing Palutena, but we're not necessarily having the same moves. And so you customize the character that you want to. So let's say your favorite character is Kirby. Your favorite Nintendo character of all time is Kirby, but you don't like the way Kirby is normally. You can change his moveset, around, is what I'm guessing. I'm not sure if it's with every character. But you can change the moveset so that you get Kirby, your favorite character, more accustomed to your playstyle. So that's really cool that they showed that. And then the last thing was Miyamoto comes on and he's talking about how he's working on games that use the gamepad and the TV. Normally I wouldn't talk about this if it wasn't for one small detail. If you look really closely, they have the television out of focus. But if you look, you can see an R-Wing. There's a Star Fox game coming. Like 99% sure that he was playing a Star Fox game on the Wii U. Because there's a scene. You can kind of see the outline of an R-Wing go up and start spinning. And he comes down. And it's obviously a shooting, flying game. Is what you can obviously tell from like the seconds of gameplay you see. So I'm like 95% sure that they're making a Star Fox game for Wii U. Which is awesome. So that was all that was in the Nintendo press conference for E3, the Nintendo E3 Direct, So I wanted to thank you all for watching. Sorry for the long video, but, this is a 45-minute press conference. So I wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys back on the note.